Good morning. Welcome to the ACG Denver series in the Limelight, where we sit down with middle market company leaders and learn about their companies, the challenges they face, and the successes that they celebrate. ACG Denver is the middle market business community providing access to a network of relationships, knowledge, and resources committed to supporting the growth of Colorado businesses. My name is Jason Munoz. I'm a managing partner and one of the founders of Slate Partners. And I'm delighted to be joined this morning by Clay Benson, who is the corporate market director within the Denver operating group for Mortenson. Good morning, Clay. Thanks for spending some time with us this morning. And I think, we can kind of jump in and get started by just hearing more about your company and I guess specifically what you do and what the mission is for you at Mortenson.
Absolutely. Good morning. Yes, so Mortenson is a family-owned real estate and construction company based in Minneapolis. We're a $4 billion a year company with over 10,000 team members nationwide. We've been in Denver for close to 40 years. We're a $500 million business here with 250 salaried team members and right around the same number of craft employees as well. I'm responsible for our corporate market sector, which is really, I'm responsible for pursuing, winning, getting, and building $125 million worth of construction each year. And so that is my main focus. And Mortenson's mission is to provide an exceptional customer experience. That's our number one focus, and the company is really built to do that nationally.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, maybe picking up on that, who are your customers and what is it that they value most from you?
In Colorado, my customers are Woodward, which is a Fort Collins-based aerospace manufacturing company, Coors Tech, which again is based in Golden and they're the world's largest ceramic manufacturer, and we just recently completed a project for Lockheed Martin. And probably what they value most in us is a couple things. First of all, it's certainty of performance. So we believe that delivering projects on time, on budget, with great quality and zero injuries are table stakes. And that is an expectation of all of our customers, and we should be able to knock it out of the park on every project. Secondarily, what our people really value with our relationship is how we approach them as a strategic business partner. So we can certainly be their builder, we can even be their developer, but what we want to do is we want to sit at the table when they're doing strategic planning and make sure that real estate is an accelerator to growth, not an obstacle for growth. And I think that that's what our customers really value, is that connection, us making sure that we really value really their customers and their products, and making sure that we do everything we can to make them successful.
Interesting. Well, it's obviously the environment today is challenging for everyone. Part of I think what's interesting about the sector that you're in is that as an essential business, which I assume that your activities have been assumed essential. In a lot of ways, you've been on sort of the leading edge of developing strategies, developing tactics, protocols for managing through the current environment. Maybe you can talk a little bit about how that environment is impacting your business right now and some of the things that you've done to address it.
Absolutely. We so as throughout this entire process, we're a critical business. And so our construction project sites nationwide have been in operations. They've never been shut down. And so there have been a lot of lessons learned that we've had to figure out in terms of how do we do that? How do we keep people safe? How do we keep them productive? And in the field, how we approach that and where the light went on easiest for our team members was when we looked at COVID, meeting the COVID-19 requirements is really just another safety protocol. So once people realize that, to be safe and to work safe within the COVID environment, I'm going to have to wear a mask. I'm going to have to be 6 feet distance. We follow the CDC guidelines and have, as a company, chosen to follow those guidelines. So we haven't custom tailored them to our business. We feel like that is the standard. We believe in that standard, and we meet that standard on every project. And it's really easy for people then to go and look on the website and figure out what is required for us to do it, if there's any doubt in anyone's mind. And so the other thing that Mortenson has done that I really appreciate has been total transparency as a company. So our leadership, we've had, initially we were having bi-weekly meetings, then they moved to weekly meetings. Now we get together once a month. David Mortenson, our chairman, Dan Johnson, our CEO and president, they give us an update, and it's a half-an-hour call. They say, here's how it's impacting our business. Here are the success stories. Here are the challenges we're having. And that total transparency has been a huge lesson learned for us, just so that everyone understands what's going on, both good news and bad, because we've had some work disappear. You know, we're here in Denver, we had 3 hotel projects just about to break ground, and the hotel market has dried up. And we don't know, certainly those projects, we're hopeful they'll come back, but they're not going to be coming back anytime in the short term. So that had significant impact to us here locally. Mm-hmm. And so we are, the company, what was great about it was they didn't sugarcoat that. And that total transparency piece was super important to us. Mm-hmm. And so those would probably be the 2 biggest lessons learned, is establishing that playbook of we're going to follow the CDC guidelines, and clearly communicating that to our projects. And so what's been good is frankly, as you mentioned, we've been working for over 3 months in this environment. We're kind of subject matter experts and around this, and our customers look to us at that, and that's been an interesting result of this, is they're reaching out to us and we're having conversations with our customers around, okay, how are you keeping your people safe in the field? Because we have customers who have manufacturing floors. They have the same challenges of keeping people 6 feet apart. How do they wear masks? How do they keep the work surfaces clean and the environment clean for them to work? So we're sharing lessons, and it's been really fun to kind of have that be a collaborative environment with our customers to be able to go through. Yeah. And as well as we're finding in our offices, our Denver office has been back in operations for 4 weeks. This is our 4th week. We're finding that we're some of the first businesses to come back in the office environment as well. And so we're able to share some of those lessons as well as our office personnel come back to work.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, as you mentioned, I think what everyone is wrestling with right now, and certainly people, companies, leaders in the, in the construction field, sort of broadly defined, navigating the short-term environment is one thing. What does the long-term environment, look like, given there's been such a shock to, the economy, to the system in general. And I suppose it varies depending on, what end market you might be focused on, whether that's residential, commercial, industrial, et cetera. How are you thinking about, the next 12 months, 24 months, once we get through, assuming we get through the short-term, challenges, what does that demand environment look like in your view over the next, medium to long-term type period?
In talking to our trade partners as well as our design partners, everyone is very busy right now, but there's great concern in the market around 4th quarter 2020, 1st quarter 2021. Mm-hmm. So there's just a lot of uncertainty, and so people seem to be holding on to cash, deciding not to move forward and spending cash, and they're just trying to make sure they're being very cautious about the next step. So I feel, I personally feel like this next 12 months is going to be relatively slow, but that I'm hopeful that 12 months from now we're coming back out, that there'll be more certainty around what the environment looks like. Is there any progress on a potential vaccination? What that actually means if a vaccine works, and what that will mean to people moving forward. So I would say that we're nervous about the next 6 to 9 months, but and are hopeful that we start to come out of it a year from now, that the market will be coming back, the horizon will be more clear at that point, and people will be moving forward. Because again, Colorado is a very strong market. The Front Range market is very strong. Companies still want to be in Colorado. People still need to make things. Woodward, for example, they're deeply embedded in the aircraft business. So their main customers are Boeing and Airbus. And until those companies start making planes, they're having to pivot and respond to this and figure out what, are there other products they can make in the short term to replace that supply chain.
Yeah, certainly an interesting environment. Well, maybe we'll part here as our time sort of draws to a close. Certainly a lot of certainty, but any particular, you had mentioned some of the success stories shared with you by your leadership, maybe in the thought of ending on a high note, because certainly there are a lot of success stories out there that I think we need to keep in mind as everyone manages through this environment. What comes to your mind in terms of and what you've seen?
Well, an absolute success story is our relationship with Woodward. Again, Woodward is a $3 billion a year company as far as manufacturing parts within the aerospace market as well as the industrial market. Our businesses dovetail really nicely together. Our senior leaders know each other well. That partnership started in 2013. So we've completed 8 projects, both here and in Illinois, over $250 million worth of constructed value. And we are a true strategic business partner. We're helping them plan out their real estate over the long haul as we dovetail that into their strategic planning. And as I mentioned before, so we want to be there and to make sure that they're not allowing real estate to restrict their growth, but to really where can we have their real estate position so that they can accelerate through their growth. And I am very proud of that relationship. I'm proud of the work we've completed to date and the work we'll complete in the future, because they're a terrific partner and friend.
Great. Yeah, very, very nice to hear those types of collaborative success stories. Well, Clay, thank you for taking the time with us on In the Limelight today. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, take care.